Let's roll this clip actually of Joe Rogan talking to Konstantin Gissin on a podcast last week about Christianity. This is a good place to start because I think it'll help us lay a foundation for the rest of the discussion. So we can go ahead and roll S4 here.
And Christianity in particular is the most fascinating to me because there's this one person that everybody agrees existed that somehow or another had the best plan for how human beings should interact with each other and behave, and was the best example of it, and even died in a non-violent way. Like, didn't even protest, died on the cross, supposedly for our sins. Like, it's a fascinating story. But it's a historical human being too, though.
Yeah.
It's a historically documented human being. That's where it gets weird, because there's a universal depiction of what this human being was like that doesn't seem to vary that much between all the people that knew him. That gets weird.
A couple of things there, Billy. It is weird. It is weird. And when Christians dominated American culture, it wasn't depicted as so weird because kind of everybody believed in it. But now we're sort of in the negative world, as Aaron Renn describes it. And it appropriately looks very weird now. And the Christ story is a supernatural story. And I feel like that's such a hurdle, understandably, in this like peak modern period for people to get over when they've been sort of conditioned to see the world in this kind of antiseptic way, where everything is everything is, kind of boring, to be honest, Billy. So tell us, just as you have been doing the podcast, as you've had this book, are you encountering more people who are thinking like Rogan?
Absolutely. And I think what has happened, and I don't want to oversimplify, but I think one of the big things is that for years we've been telling all these young people, Gen Z, I'm an elderly millennial, right? So for me, I'm on the upper end of the millennial scale. But for Gen Z, they were the first generation after millennials that really were brought up with relativism. It was sort of like, believe whatever you want, think whatever you want. There's no real objective truth. It's just sort of like your own whim. You do whatever you want to do. And that has proven to not work. And so you have all these young people who were brought up until they're 17, 18 years old, and they've tried everything and none of it's making sense. And they're looking out at a crazy world and they're like, wait a minute, there has to be a real answer somewhere. Where is it? And with that, I think that's why we're watching so many young people discover the Bible, discover Christianity, because they're looking for an answer right now after being lied to for so long.